I don't know how much value I have in this universe, but I do know that I made a few people happier than they would have been without me. And as long as I know that, I'm as rich as I ever need to be.
Hey kid, what time is that?
It's time to refresh.
Right, here we are in the studio finally. I was going to do a big introduction there, and I'm not. We've gone the full circle. We've got marker one from episode 1. We touched slightly on your story.
Yeah.
I think we've come a long way since then.
Yeah, you've done good.
I'm trying through episodes 1 to, I don't know, whatever people think. I don't know. I've my presentations got better, and the way I talk to people, the way I communicate with people has got better. So this feels like it's come full circle with you coming on and whatnot. Hope you like the new studio, by the way. We've
Looks
got
good.
It's all right, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
95% there.
Yeah, I like this.
Yeah, it's just to make us stand out. There's
Yeah.
going to be some flyers and that going there as well eventually. We've got the second camera, and it's just trying to. Well, compared to your last one, we just had the microphones, didn't we, in the recording?
Yeah.
So it's come a long way.
It was like doing a police interview last time.
I was just sitting there looking at you going,
With a tape
so,
recorder.
This it's more casual now, and I don't know. It feels like I'm here and I'm sitting having a crack with my mate. Who, to be honest with you, there's a lot of people who come on this podcast who are my mates and stuff, and I feel like I don't get to sit and have a conversation with them in day-to-day life anymore. Everyone's so busy.
Yeah,
so this is my excuse to sit down and have a crack with you. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you get to know some decent crack and all that as well, innit?
Yeah, like stuff that I didn't even know about my pals and stuff. So,
Yeah.
Marco, and now you can put a face to him as well, because you won't have seen him on the first one. We didn't even get a photo afterwards, so yeah, there's that as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, what did you have for tea last night?
What did I have for tea last night? Fucking hell, I can't remember. I think I made a curry, actually. Yeah, beef curry with fried rice.
What type of curry? Was it like a Chinese style curry?
Yeah, it was a Chinese one, yeah. I did it myself. I'm a chef now, you know.
I know. Well, I was going to get into this.
Yeah.
So, rewind a bit, right?
Yeah.
Last time I seen you were when we had the It's Time to Refresh event, 135.
Yeah.
And you were downstairs and you were cooking pizzas.
There was, yeah.
So and then I seen a little post on Facebook saying that you were going to this academy. Am I correct?
Yeah. I mean, so what it was when lockdown happened, we were all like bored shitless, weren't we? And we're like, how can we keep our pub running? And we thought we're gonna have to do like takeaways from the pub. So I went to see Steve Thompson, he was a chef years and years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He taught me how to do like Italian style pizzas. And I spent hours and days, months learning, and then eventually we set up like a little takeaway doing pizzas. I loved doing it, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a good crack.
So everything from scratch.
Something different.
Yeah.
Like literally everything from scratch. And then in the end, I mean, cut a long story short, I just thought, well, I wouldn't mind doing this, you know, like just for a bit of a part-time doss about now and again.
Yeah.
So I went down to Dorset to a place called White Pepper, which is like one of the world's best chef academies. So
Well, you just contact them and say, listen, I want
yeah,
to
it's good crack. Met some really good people in that.
Class.
But
There's an elephant in the room though. That being when I was downstairs,
yeah.
you didn't even offer me any of your pizza.
I
still holding
probably
it
ate
against
it all
you.
myself.
Yeah, I'm still holding it against you.
Yeah, you can have one next time you're down.
Yeah.
You've got an event, haven't you? Come on.
Hey, yeah, there is going to be another It's Time to Refresh event. I'm not going to give anything away, but I suppose you've announced some of it now. So later this year.
I know there's one, yeah. So.
But yeah, what was it? Was it cheese? Yeah, was it barbecue chicken? And
Yeah, I made barbecue chicken.
It smelled nice, anyways.
And all that, yeah.
It smelled nice.
It's good. It was delicious.
So what was it like at this academy then? What was it?
Well, it's run by some really like like top chefs like in the world kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like the guy that he taught me. He was Gordon Ramsay's head chef for I think 8 years.
Wow.
So it was like, you know, it was a bit like being chucked in at the deep end, like going there and doing that. But that's kind of what I'm like.
Was it stressful?
You know what I mean? Oh yeah, you get fucking beasted in that. I was fucking washing up in that as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, this is like having a job and I've paid to come here. But yeah.
It humbles you.
Well, yeah, that's it. Yeah. I mean, what have I done for the last 20 years? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've DJed for a living and fucking owned nightclubs and that.
Yeah.
And I think you just get into a little bubble of a world of your own.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And it's like nobody tells you what to do. Like, although you might have people shouting at you saying this, that, and the other, there's no like hierarchy of.
Yeah, there's no.
Yeah.
It's like you become a little bit undisciplined. Like I couldn't have a normal job again now. I'm not saying that I wouldn't, but like, how could I? Do you know what I mean? It's like I've spent all that time doing whatever I want to do, and like, you know, like I've loads of time off and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd last more than a day in a normal job now.
Go and shove it up your ass. There you go.
I would. I literally would. Like I went to. Well, you know, I went to Dobie's to sell cars.
Oh, yeah.
I lasted 6 months, and I only done that job because I was so bored through the week.
Yeah.
Because I was DJing for a living as well, which was like twice as much money as what I was earning in my day job.
Yeah.
So I was like going up there, and I'm like,
Discipline.
do I need to do this?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's one of them. It's just like the thing with DJing, like professionally and that, and like even like to the standard that I was doing it, like just dossing about in clubs in Manchester and Carlisle and Workington and that.
Yeah.
It's like you get bored through the week. I don't know if anyone else has talked about this.
No.
But like, I found like, because I did it, I'd have classed myself as professional for like 15 or 16 years, where I didn't have any other kind of job while I was doing that. And I don't know, I thought it was quite a lonely job. Do you know what I mean?
I can see where you're coming from.
You know what I mean? It's like, a lot of people would be like, oh, I wish I had your lifestyle, like going and doing nightclubs every weekend, and then just, like, you've got a good car, you've got a nice house, whatever, you go on holidays, but still, there's like, when I was doing Carlisle, driving up there, or going down to Manchester and stuff like that to DJ down there, on my own. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's fun the first few years when you've got your pals there and they're like, oh, I'll come and support you, I'll come and support you. And then when you find yourself doing 200 to 300, 400 mile, like on a night, and you're on your own, it's not fun then, is it? It's I mean, it's fun while you're DJing, but like the driving and on your own, there's no social aspect
boring,
of it. Eating out of fast food all the time.
The other problem as well, I mean, I'm not slagging off DJing, do you know what I mean? It's good crack and that, you know what I mean? But like say, you're on your own, you're driving on your own all the time, because you're self-employed essentially, you know what I mean? You feel like you can never have a day off. So it's like all your friends are like, oh, we're going to Newcastle for the weekend, do you come? And well, I can't because I'm DJing, and if I don't DJ, I don't get X £100 per week anymore, and then someone might try and nick my gig.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like, which was always the case. Yeah. Like, if you had somewhere like Fusion or Terminal 1 in Carlisle or places down Manchester and that, if you had a weekend off, there'd always be someone trying to nick your gig.
Yeah, and
then you go back the weekend after, and people are like, it's a bit off, do you know what I mean? Like, because you could tell someone's been trying to muscle in.
Way in,
exactly. So it's like, I don't know, it's quite stressful,
Yeah.
I remember driving home from Barrow one morning. I'd done Carlisle, and I drove down the M6 and then went across to Barrow to do that super boat. Like, it was
the boat,
a cruise ship thing. And I finished at like 7 o'clock in the morning. and I was fucked there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I walked out of there. I can't remember what year it was, but I walked out. I had a fucking massive pocket full of money and that. You know what I mean? I was driving my car, and I'm like, this is definitely going to come to an end one day.
Yeah, I can see that.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it was like a click moment where I thought, I can't do this forever.
Yeah, understandable.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, just for instance, weekend before, I think it was the Sanctuary Summer Rave, and I played down there. I went and done a couple of podcasts as well, so this is on my head, I suppose. I went out 10:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
On the Saturday, yeah. Went out, done the podcasts, drove up to Blackpool, and then I slept in the car. I was going to get a hotel, but I left it sort of last minute, and I was just like, I've got to be back the next day because I was doing something. That's another thing, social aspect. I was doing something with my mates, so I was like, right, I'm not getting a hotel because I'll be out by fucking 7 o'clock. Because I need to be back by sort of 9:30 or whatever. Yeah. And then I was just like, I'd done the gig. I was driving home, and I pulled over up at just past the Penrith roundabout in the lay-by. And I thought, I'm going to have a sleep because I'm fucking knackered. No, like, just obviously, I've been out since 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 10 the day before.
Grim, eh?
And I thought, why the fuck am I doing this? Like, why?
You have them moments, like...
But then, I got home, I had a shower, and I just thought, do you know what? I'll do it because I fucking love it.
Well, that's it, yeah.
Like, for that 1 hour you're playing, and that hour either side that you're sort of socialising with people who've got like-minded sort of thing, like thought process. They love the music, they love the vibe, everything going on. I just think that's why. I think it's all worth it because eventually, like any scene, you see it now with the old school scene. They're a little compact audience of before there would have been hundreds of thousands of them. Now it's a little compact audience. Eventually, this is all gonna go to shit. I'm talking about bounce and hard dance and hardcore and all this.
But will it go?
It will eventually because do you know we're all gonna get old.
Yeah, I know that, but like, I thought like when it kind of died a death in like, when was it, 2009, 10?
Yeah. It
kind of died off, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like it went to like EDM and all that bollocks, didn't it? And it, you know what I mean? Everyone was into all of that shit, and I thought, well, there's no way that like Clubland and bounce and donk and all that's ever gonna come back now, but it did.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's weird. It's like people's kids have like grown up with the mum and dad like forcing that kind of music down their ears, and now they're 18, and now all of them lot love all the like Alex K and stuff like that. Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
No, well, it is good. It is good on that part, but how many times can it do that? I'm not saying I'm not looking at this in a negative way. People might think that I am, but I'm not at all. It's just that we're all eventually going to become old.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm old now. I'm 47. Do you know what I mean?
Don't look it, mate. You don't look it.
I look 57.
I didn't want to say it.
I look absolutely fucking deed at the minute.
But so we were talking, and there was a question on there that I'll read to you later. But may as well, seeing as we're on the subject, what's one pet hate about all this, about the club scene? What's one thing that gives you not the ick, but like it's just like I hate it.
I fucking can't stand booking agents.
Booking agents.
Yeah,
nice.
I fucking can't stand the cunts.
Nice.
Honestly, I've had that many years of dealing with pretentious arseholes. Yeah. If there's any pretentious arseholes watching this, go and fuck yourself. Like, honestly, like, I could name a few names, but, you know, I can be quite cryptic about it. There's a certain, like...
I know one that we've talked about. We've had the same running and ordeal.
Let's just say he's quite big in the trance booking side of things.
Might as well say his name now.
But,
no, I'm only joking.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of them, and like they'll tell you what the artist wants on the rider and all that stuff. And like, I've dealt with that many of them, like, you know, like Judge Jules and all that, the Tidy Boys, all them kind of people, and it just gets ridiculous sometimes.
Eventually, yeah.
You just get sick of it, and then it's like they're just greedy individuals. It's like they've got no soul. It's like they've been down to hell, and then hell's been like, "No, you're too evil for hell. You go back and be a fucking booking agent." Do you know what I mean? And
No,
that's what
I've got a new one for you. I obviously can't say this on pod or who it is, but the latest one is sublime. So what's the typical thing? It's sort of maybe a bottle of vodka. It's a certain brand, or do you know X amount of bottles of water in the DJ booth for the DJ and stuff like that. I've got a new one for you. You ready?
Yeah.
Somebody's put on their rider. Not saying who. When I seen it, I was just like, that's not real. But yeah, a vape. A vape. I couldn't believe it. Luckily, it's no one in our scene, so yeah.
I mean, I've booked Judge Jules a couple of times, and on his stuff, it's like, I want a punnet of strawberries, I want some fucking raspberries, some like Grey Goose, and 15 cans of Red Bull. Like, what the fuck are you going to do with all of this shit?
I can't believe that.
You know what I mean? Like, a punnet of strawberries. A fair play to the guy when he come last time. He ate the strawberries. I was like, oh well, he wasn't lying.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
yeah.
But I remember when his brother was doing his booking for him back in the day, and he said, "Oh, can you please make sure that Jules has got a nice towel for behind the DJ box?" I was like, "Yeah, fair play." I said, "We've got some pink ones down the club." "Oh no! Please make sure that it's of a manly colour." I was like, "Fuck's sake, what is wrong with you?
Lovely.
A towel's a towel, eh? You know what I mean?" It's just
Lovely.
like, but that kind of crap. And then agents turn around saying like stuff like, when you've booked through someone else, and then you'll get a phone call off the other agent who's jealous. It's like a jealous girlfriend, like, or boyfriend or whatever, phoning up, going berserk. Do you know what I mean? It's like, "Oh, I see you booked with such and such. They're also my artist. If you continue with that booking, I'm going to tell them not to come." So the last conversation I had with a particular booking agent, I was like, "Well, tell him not to come then." No, I'll tell him not to come. I'm like, "Do you not understand? I'm telling you to tell him not to come because I don't care if he turns up or not." And he's like, "But I'll tell him." I'm like, "Yeah, he's fucking listening to the conversation. I'm telling you, I don't care if he turns up or not. I'm beyond caring." You know what I mean? It doesn't make any fucking difference to me.
It's ridiculous.
But like, it's just petty shit all the time, eh?
One of my pet peeves was I back when I was running the base metal events in GL3, booking somebody. You have to be cryptic about this because they don't want legal action. You see, don't be suing. How can I put it? Right. So what happened was booked this person, all went through fine. I think they got a bigger booking, like something bigger than Whitehaven anyway. I think it was like something abroad somewhere, and they're like, "Listen, we're gonna have to cancel, but I've found your equal replacement," and it was one of my mates.
Yeah, I've had that happen to me before.
Like, it was one of my mates. Well, you mentioned the one to me last time, and then it just reminded me then, and I was like, "And they're charging what?"
They don't care, eh?
I got straight onto WhatsApp and I said, like, "Come on, what the fuck?"
Yeah, it's just it's ridiculous what they do to people.
Yeah.
And then they'll do all this shit to you, and like they're completely shyster the living crap out of you, and then 2 months later, "Hiya, pal, I haven't spoken to you for fucking 2 months. Can you get such and such booked in?" And you're like, "Well, what? Have you fucking got no memory or something of what you've done to me in the past?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But this is what happens, isn't it?
Yeah.
They must talk to that many people every day.
Yeah.
They forget what they're saying to you in particular.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So on the flip side, on the reverse question to it, what's one of the like happy factors where you could maybe do a gig or book somebody, or anything to do with the club scene where you go, yes?
I mean, it's one of them, innit? You're always happy when like an event goes well, like for the audience, not just yourself. Like, I'm not a glory seeker at all. Do you know what I mean? That's why I've never publicised what I've done in the past, like DJing wise and stuff like that. It's always been about what you can try and give to the customers. Do you know what I mean? And they like it more than me.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to be in a fucking rock band before I'd done any of this.
We'll get into that in a minute.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I was more into rock music than dance music, and then I kind of just got dragged into it. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, and then kind of still in it now, I suppose. You know what I mean? Can't fucking escape. But yeah, it's all, for me. It's about what you can give the audience.
So would you say your happy thing would be maybe seeing on social media the day after that everyone's had a banging night?
Yeah.
That's
like all the pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Especially when you see people that you haven't seen for quite a long time when they come to an event.
Yeah.
You know, they might be settled down in the 30s or even 40s or whatever.
It's a good feeling knowing that you've got them out for that. Like, it must be something, a special event. When I see some of the old faces at gigs and I'm like, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I've DJ'd all over the world, really, and it's like, I think you find that, like, even though people are from different countries and stuff like that, there's the same crack, eh?
Yeah.
Like, I've DJ'd in New York, and then obviously I spent a couple of years in Portugal and that.
Yeah.
And, like, there's always, like, the fucking legend in the corner who's a bit weird. Do you know what I mean? Like, for us, that's like Trippy Kev. Do you know what I mean? There's a Trippy everywhere.
Yeah.
Like,
Shout Trippy Kev.
Trippy, we love you. Like, honestly, there's a Trippy everywhere. Right? It's like, he'll be there.
Everyone in town knows him. He's a character. There isn't, like, I said this, Andy Kelly was on and he told a very good story about Kev.
Yeah.
And I said this, it's like, there's not many characters around anymore. And like you say, wherever you go in the world, there's just this one character who's just like...
The thing is, it's like, when you get someone like that, like, the whole room can end up, like, being uplifted off that one person's energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like...
Cultured.
It
adds culture. Yeah.
But it's every country I've been to, there's been someone like that kind of uplifts it. You know what I mean?
Quality. I was thinking, because obviously when I got that question through, I thought I'm going to make that question a staple to the podcast. I'm going to ask everyone it from now on.
Yeah.
And one that gets me really happy. It could be a pet peeve, or it could be something that does make you happy. When you turn up to a gig, right, and there's monitors and a working mixer. Like, I know that should be standard nowadays, but when you turn up sometimes and there's no monitor, it's like you're wrestling with it, and it's like...
Yeah. I mean...
That for me, that is it. When you turn up, you're just like... I don't care if it's half empty or if it's absolutely banging. If you've got the correct equipment to be able to work, class. Just class.
I mean, I've been electrocuted a few times, put it that way. Like, when I was doing Fusion and that, like, that was owned by a company called Luminar Leisure.
Yeah.
And they had, like, 230 nightclubs all over the UK.
Yeah.
And when you DJ'd for them, you kind of got signed up to their own...
roster, sort of thing.
Roster, like, within that group. And they would sometimes send you to places, so I got sent to a few.
Yeah.
Like, I think Burnley was one of them, Rochdale and places like that. And you'd rock up, and they'd have, like, a Denon twin deck with no fucking buttons on.
Yeah.
And a Formula Sound mixer with no knobs on any of it.
Right.
Just, like, pieces of metal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So... like, you'd have to push your finger inside the mechanism to get the button.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, no one could DJ like that now. I think a lot of the, like, young DJs now, when you say, I was a DJ, like, 15 years ago or whatever, they don't understand. But like, back then, there was no waveform.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? There was no
different...
waveform on the fucking screen.
Yeah.
There wasn't even BPM counters on stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was all done by ear. I'm not being one of them old-fashioned DJs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But that's what it was like. You had to DJ by ear or nothing.
Yeah, understandable. I think people had to learn the craft back in the day.
Yeah.
Both sides of the coin, I've got views on, and it's both pro and cons.
Yeah.
Like, I see this, it's a boring argument. The latest one's the Ghost Producer one, which it's a whole different thing. But if we're talking about being a DJ, it's like, vinyl DJs always say, only DJs DJ on vinyl.
Yeah.
It's like, but you've limited to what you can play now. You can't play anything after fucking 2005. Do you know what I mean? It's like...
where'd you get your records from?
Yeah. You might get limited presses of stuff where it's been like crowdfunded or something like that, or someone's been brave enough to press the music up in this climate, which is stupid.
Yeah.
But that's the way I see it. I embrace the like, for now, I can go and produce a record now. I'll throw a test master on it to a certain degree that's playable in a club. I can go down to say 135, play it out, see if it gets a reaction, or like, for instance, the last It's Time Riffresh event, I finished on a tune. I thought, I'll see how this goes down. Got a good reaction, but there was a few production elements that that you could hear in the club, and I came back. Thing away. I don't master my own stuff, by the way. John Doe CLSM. There's a plug for you. But it's I can master to a level in which it's playable in a club.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
And then I come back, make the changes, and then I'll send it off. Years ago, you'd have to get like an acetate, or you'd have to get like some sort of test press, and it's like, how long does that take for it to return? And with tracks, it's like, the financial risk of pressing up 500 records, knowing that you might not sell them.
I mean, I know what you mean. It's like, it's a bit too open now, isn't it? Like, I've done it before. I've got Reason 11 on my computer. I've made trance tracks. I've made house music, but like, I'll get fucking bored with it so easily. Do you know what I mean? It's just too long of a time to sit there for weeks and months on one song. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I love it.
It does my nut in.
It's so therapeutic.
I'm like, no, I can't cope with this anymore. So like, I've made stuff for a joke. Do you know what I mean? And tried it down the club, and I found that like, stuff that's like a joke is more popular than like a decent trance song that you've made for like, you've been making for 3 months. Do you know what I mean? It's sad, really, but I think the audience, I don't know, they just don't have any like attention span at all.
I've just seen there's a Makina track that's just been done. It was Barbie Girl, obviously off the back of the Barbie movie.
It'll be bigger.
And it's getting so many shares, but the haters are sharing it saying, "What the fuck is this?"
But then
and it's getting millions of views. It's getting bigger. I'm like, oh my god, you're feeding the animal.
Yeah, that's what happens, isn't it? It's like something that's like dog shit will become massive. Yeah. Just because it's basic.
But do you know what I think? Are you a fan of like, my best analogy would be detailed movies where, do you know like, I've seen Parasite.
I think so.
The one that's, it's Korean and...
Oh, I like watching a lot of Korean films actually. This is like one of my favourite horror film is Train to Busan, right? Which is like, it's a zombie film. South Korean, it's fucking mint. Watch Train to Busan.
We've got questions on that later, so
it is fucking class. It's better than The Walking Dead. You know what I mean?
But the reason I said it on Parasite, right? So what it is, it starts off. There's a big initial. This is what I would call the idea. I've got the idea, and it's there. This is the way I read it, and then it's like a slow burner all the way through, and you're there. And this is where I think you might get lost in it, where you're bored or whatever. For me, that I find that part therapeutic. I find it where it's like, when the payoff comes at the end, it's this. I'm like, if I just add this bit in here, I think this will get a good reaction off this side of the crowd or this sort of clientele. And with me, I like the science and that behind it. And then when you're coming towards the end of the record and you're mixing it, and it's like, right, they've got this sounding sweet. Can't wait to test it. You might have a gig that weekend. You might have it the next month or whatever it is when your next gig is, and you get to play that out and get the payoff at the end. It's like a good twist in a movie. It's like it's the night. It's that feeling. So that's why I like it. But some people, maybe like yourself, or maybe like a Marvel movie where it's like action. And I think being in the career you've been in with the DJing and stuff, even the chef to an extent, it's all action. And
yet my favourite music is probably, my two genres that I like best I like rock music, old
Yeah.
80s rock.
In your face, action,
Right.
action,
I
action.
love
Like I
that.
say,
But then dance music wise, I like, like proper trance music,
yeah,
like melodic trance
yeah.
that a lot of people can't listen to because it's too long.
To slow burner.
Do you know what I mean? It's like intellectual music. You've got to be. I think to listen to trance and appreciate it, you've got to have some kind of intelligence.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like
can see
you've
that.
got to understand music a little bit.
yeah.
Like a lot of it's like German Baroque kind of chords and that.
Well,
I'm like-
I don't know whether you think, but they say that there's a lot of slogans you see when you see lads with t-shirts and that on, or lasses with t-shirts and that on, saying house music is a feeling,
Yeah.
and it's a groove, and it's repetitive, and it's
Yeah.
that's cool if that's your thing.
Yeah.
But if you do trance music,
Yeah.
it's like you feel the emotion and the payoff thing again. If you wait for that to build up and hear that chord progression or that key change or anything at all, and when it kicks in, it's like, that's what I've waited for. Like,
Yeah, it's good. I mean, you can get.
different types of people, different things. That's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it reflects a lot on the demographic that you've got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like small working class towns tend to be dong and bounce and
Easy
that.
feeding.
Whereas
yeah.
if you go to Germany and that, it's all trance music, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Techno's massive.
Techno.
Got a cool story about in Germany actually. Me and my missus went to a German techno rave,
Yeah.
and I've been to some raves and they've been good. They've been great. This, I wouldn't say it's the best one I've ever been to,
Yeah.
but for experience wise, it's the most different. It was so.
What's different?
It was so on its own and
Yeah.
standalone, like nothing I've ever experienced. You go there, right?
Yeah.
We went to go in, queuing up, going in. We went in, and there was the DJ on. He was playing techno. It was quite tough techno music. It was really good. Kind of what's big at the minute, that sort of thing. Maybe this was 2017, and we were there, and there was different parts of the crowd. So you had people who were the ravers, and they're the lasers and the tech and that was amazing.
Yeah.
And they were right by the sound system where it was going off, and then you had this group around the DJ box, but it was they were set back, and they were producers, and they were seeing what was working and what you could see them analysing it, and they were sober. There was no one.
Yeah.
It was it's because if you go to a rave here, a lot of people off their heads or
Even the organisers.
Yeah, exactly. So here it was weird to see and at the back there was people that you could see that there were maybe DJs or maybe even some more producers, but standing at the back and just analysing what was going off in the crowd. And I remember someone was mixing a tune. I couldn't tell you even who the DJs were. I could find a flyer maybe, but the DJ was mixing a tune and the shaker came in on the next tune. It's the first thing that came prominent in the mix, and it was and it was coming in, and then you seen one lad go to it. I'll give him the nudge, and he's like, this tune here," and the sort of they're analysing it when it kicked in. They were like, yes, get in there. It's but they were all sober, and I thought this is surreal. How often do you hear that? See that in our scene? It's
no, everyone likes to get wrecked, don't they?
no,
be honest.
but how different is that to our culture even?
Well, it is. I mean, I went to quite a few. I wouldn't even class them as raves in New York, but the scene over there when I was there, because I was there in the year 2000.
Right.
It was rough as tits. Do you know what I mean? Back then, New York was kind of at the back end of it being super dodgy to go there.
Is
You know
it?
what I mean?
Was it obviously because of the house music and that? Was it a big gay scene for
I think
house music and stuff?
not that I went to many gay nights, but you know what I mean?
but for house music,
I think there
tends
was.
to attract.
There was I think there was quite a lot of that. I mean, I when I went there, I was only 24, I think, and I obviously lived there, and I was naive as fucker. Do you know what I mean? You just don't know what the fuck's going on, but you try and go everywhere.
Yeah.
So I was going to nightclubs in Harlem and that.
Right.
Fucking, you know what I mean? I shouldn't have been there really. Obviously, I got told to leave and stuff like this, but I went to some fucking weird places over there. There's a nightclub /cafe /fucked up place called Pandora's Box, where me and my mates went.
Right.
And it's like a little cafe upstairs. Went in, had a drink and that. And then they come round and like, do you want to come downstairs? The club's downstairs. I'm like, oh, yeah, we'll go to the club downstairs, no problem at all. And it's a fucking S&M dungeon downstairs.
Lovely. The club.
Do you know what I mean?
What type of club was that?
I got put in a bag.
No what?
I got put in a bag. So they put you on a table, right? I don't know if you've seen the film Fire in the Sky, where the guy gets abducted by aliens, right?
No.
And then he's on the examining table. And anyhow, they do that. They put you on this table, and they put like a latex sheet over you, right? And then they put a hoover on the bottom, and they suck the air out of the fucking bag. So you get like...
Where the fuck are you going to?
Honestly, you get sucked into the bag, and then they put a mouth hole in for you, like with a little plastic mouth breather thing. And I was on.
And then they put a cock in your mouth.
Yeah, yeah, and then you're like, meh.
There's nothing you can do about it.
No, it was like, they slap you all up and down and that. And I was like 24 years old, and it's like girls doing it, you know what I mean? But I'm like, I'm in a fucking bag in the basement of a place.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and you just like, and then you phone your dad the next morning, and he's like, "You having a nice time in New York?" And I'm like,
It's alright.
it's alright. It's a bit different, like, do you know what I mean?
New experiences.
But
experiences.
some of the clubs there, like, I think some of the best nights I've ever had out. You know what I mean? Like, there's no trouble there. I didn't find there was any trouble at all. Like, whereas in England, people get too wrecked.
Do you not think, though, it's one of them things where, because you know it better here, and you're like, you know where the rough parts are, the rough people, and people who you're used to are easier to read. You might go, I'll avoid them people because I know the trouble. Whereas you go to America, right, and because it's such a different culture, it's like, I was shocked, obviously I've talked about this in the podcast before, but how many people do carry weapons. Like,
there's a lot.
That's what I mean. Like, and a lot of states like close concealed or open firearms. So that being said, like, it can probably get a bit messy there if it.
Well, I travelled all across America when I was there. Like, I spent 6 months just travelling around as well, and did I get mugged 3 times or twice?
Yeah,
I think
but it's
twice.
a much better place.
I got mugged twice.
Much nicer.
But I was only a young kid, you know what I mean? I didn't know what the fuck was going on. And it's like one of them, and you just kind of accept it. But like, I was in bus stations on Greyhound buses and stuff like that.
Right.
But I ended up in a bar brawl in Colorado as well. But it was apparently just the done thing. I was like,
the norm,
I was like, what the fuck's going on? Everyone was fighting each other and that. And I'm like, and the guy the next day was like, oh, it happens every day. I'm like, what? Well, I don't know if I'm coming back here again, do you know what I mean?
Lovely.
But, I could tell you some crazy shit from nightclubs and that.
Right. Hello, how are we doing? Before we start this episode, I just want to give you a little bit of a plug and promo on Fiddy's little venture you've got going on there. So go on then, what is it?
So with the Gate Street Bar and Grill in Blackburn.
Sell it to me, baby.
So we're Mexican street food based, but with a little bit extra.
Right, go on.
We pride ourselves on service. We pride ourselves on big plates and leaving the customer satisfied.
Excellent.
We're never going to be the place that people come for because it's cheap and it's convenient. You're coming for a good time out.
This sounds like my type of gaff.
We promote communal eating. We promote the tapas style eating, where you're not just out for something to eat. You're all trying each other's food, and it's a community experience.
I'm a big sharer, me, because then see for me, what the thing is with this. Say you've got this dish here, and this dish here. What you can do is you can go. I'll have a try of that, and if I don't like it, I won't get it next time when I'm on my own.
Yeah.
So there you go. Have some of that. I'll have some of that. Some people hate sharing. Why not? I've tried a bit of everything. So go on then. What's your best seller?
The best sellers? They all come from the steak range.
Yeah.
I stick to rump.
Yeah.
I feel it's the best steak, the best cut, the best value.
Right.
but I add my touch to it. So
Right.
I've got my own seasoning, my own spice blends.
Yeah.
Everything's fresh. Fresh deliveries every day. We don't freeze ever. Everything's straight from the supplier to the fridge to the grill.
Yeah.
We just don't. I don't feel like I'm giving the best value for money by pulling out a bag of frozen shit.
Yeah.
It's got to be fresh. Fresh is best.
Right, there we go. So I'm going to put the address below and the name, and you can have a check out of that. And what are you offering people who watch the podcast?
So if you come and you give the code word Riffresh, we'll offer you 10% off.
There you go. Have some of that. 10% off with the code Riffresh. I'm doing this to help promote this because I feel like I'm going to tell you right now. I haven't had it yet, but it looks amazing, and I'm about to go and have a plate full of food. So yeah, nice one, mate. Come on. Excellent. Right, so we're back for part 2 of the podcast in that brand new studio. Very proud of it, you know. Just here, with Marco, and as I said, full circle. But you coming on here, and from episode 1 to here, we're back. And last time you were here, there was I didn't have any structure. It was just come and have a conversation.
Yeah.
Let's see what's what. Now, as you can see, I'm a bit more open format, and there is a structure to the second half of the podcast.
All right.
So we've got questions, we've got flop or bop, we've got throwback attack. We've got some bits and bobs.
Yeah.
I'm going to be putting some little sound bites in that over this, so it might sound a little more professional. A little about the studio. I've got to get as many guests as I can in here, but maybe have a little lock-in sometimes. I think that'll be a good one.
Lock-in.
A lock-in, yeah, I think that'll be good.
Yeah.
And on that back wall there, which you can't see on the camera, but I'm sure I'll take a picture at some point, I'm going to get everyone who comes to sign it and just keep it forever, the wall of fame.
Oh, right,
I think
okay.
that'll be a good little thing.
Yeah.
As I say, flyers have been going on here over the top of this, just bits and bobs that I think deserve a thing. I'm
Yeah.
a big fan of like vintage rave flyers. I love do you know, like the eyes and the fucking earth and space and shit like that? Like,
the
I
proper
love
old
that type of thing.
trancy ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
proper like old school 92 sort of
Yeah.
like sort of dreamscapes and stuff like that. I love that. I love that
Yeah.
style. Bring it back, promoters. So these are just some of the questions that people's wrote in. This one's good. Hey Brad, what's the worst thing you did as a kid? And that's from Ryan Watto Watson. So what is the worst thing you did as a kid? Were you a bad kid?
I don't know. It was kind of like I lived down south for quite a long time when I was a kid.
Whereabouts?
In Malvern, which is like in the Midlands.
Right.
And then when I moved up here, like obviously I was dead posh, and everyone was like, "You're a posh bastard." Do you know what I mean? So it took me a couple of years to get kind of settled in.
Yeah.
To like talking like what West Cumbrian talks like. Do you know what I mean? You kind of had to go that way, but I don't know. I wasn't that bad. I think it was just a different time in the 80s. Like I grew up in the 80s,
Yeah.
and like we were all fucking idiots.
Well, yes,
Dunno.
but mischievous. I will say
Right.
mischievous. And what? Did you ever get up to something with your mates where you're just like,
Well, yeah, well,
wow,
we shouldn't have done that.
what the fuck? How did
Yeah,
we
well,
do?
we used to go up blowing up letterboxes and that. Like,
There we go.
it was a fucking, you know what I mean? Like, we used to get gas canisters with fireworks on.
Yeah.
And it's fucking insane, really, isn't it? You know what I mean? You'd get locked up now,
Oh yeah.
and you'd put them
You'd be classed as
inside.
terrorists.
Well, you would,
Yeah.
You would, like, yeah, we used to put them in the letterbox, and then the fucking letterbox would blow up. Do you know what I mean? There'd be
Yeah.
like letters flying down the road and all of that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, like you go home and you act as if nothing's happened.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully this isn't like a historical crime. I mean, it
Yeah.
is letterboxes, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like, it's quite
Against the
grim.
Queen, that innit? Yeah. Oh, sorry, King.
Well, yeah, I mean, but yeah, I remember we used to do shit, crazy shit like that, and like, you know, it was just, like I said, it was a different kind of time. There was one thing, I was talking to Danielle the other day about this.
Go on.
Right. It's quite a funny story, but it's quite relevant to these times as well.
Go on.
So, like, when I lived in Malvern, right, don't get shocked or anything like this.
Yeah.
'Cause I know what
Give
you're
an
gonna
age
think.
range and everything. Give us.
Right,
much
so when I
detail.
was about 8, right,
8, okay.
right, so me and my friends, we always used to, like, knock around on our bikes and that, as you do, especially in the 80s with, like, your
Yeah.
BMXs and stuff like that. And so like one day, there was a massive mansion on the corner just down the road from us.
Yeah.
And we all broke into this guy's house, like into his grounds and that. So we were like just twatting around on our bikes because he had tennis courts and a swimming pool.
Right, okay.
And we wanted to see what it was like.
I've got a Tory in here today.
Right. So we were like kicking around his fucking grounds and all that, and then we seen the guy. He was raking his leaves.
Yeah.
Right, and he got us there. He basically like stopped us and that, and he's like, "All right, young boys." I mean,
Yeah.
you know, you can imagine it. Like, and he's like, "Do you want to earn some money?" We were like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Do you want to rake these leaves for like 50 pence each?" And we were like, 50 pence is good. Then
Yeah.
you could get some good sweets and
Yeah,
that.
shitload of cola cubes.
You know what I mean? Like, so we raked his leaves for
Yeah.
50 pence. And that was that. And then, like, the weekend after, we were, oh, should we go to that fucking geezer's house again? And we're like, earn some more money. You're already building
Yeah.
a story in your head, aren't you, of where this is going?
I've got a dark fucking sense of humour, mate.
I know what you're thinking already.
Yeah.
Right, so, like, we went back to this geezer's
If
house.
I can't get one of my son's teddies out the house,
Yeah.
can you point out where he touched you?
Right, so this is it, right? So we go back the next fucking week.
It was the 80s, it was a different time.
It was a different time, and he's like, "Do you want to play tennis and that?" Right.
Okay.
This
Is he paying you for this?
no,
Oh, right,
right.
okay, okay.
We've done the leaves and that. We've earned the 50p's and stuff like this, right? And he's like, "Do you want to play tennis and that while you're here, boys?" You know what I mean? Just for a laugh and that.
Yeah.
Well, it's like 4 of us. You know what I mean? All about 8 or 9 years old, and we're like, "Yeah, we'll play tennis." And he's like, "Yeah, your clothes aren't suitable." Right, so he had all these uniforms, like tennis outfits and that we had to get changed into and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I remember putting on the fucking tennis outfit, right, and I was like, "All right, then we've got good times," you know what I mean? Like, you think it's great.
Right.
You've got a friend who's like a millionaire and he kits you out with the tennis outfits and that,
All
right?
for pennies and that,
Right.
yeah.
And then at the time when I did start to wonder, right, because he has a snooker table and all that as well.
Oh, so you're going into the house now?
Right, yeah. So he's like, "You want to come and play
Oh.
snooker?" And we were like, yeah. And
This wasn't the guy who was in New York who wrapped you up in
no,
latex, was it?
this is different.
Yeah,
right?
this is... Oh, I don't know where this is going.
Right, so then we all went into the house to play snooker, and one of our friends, Justin, he still had his normal clothes on, right? And he was like, "Oh no, you can only play snooker if you get changed into the tennis outfit." And I was like, "Come on!" I was only 8 years old.
Did
and
it
I was
click?
like,
Did you know what it
I was like,
going
"Hang on a fucking minute. Why do you need to wear tennis clothes to play snooker?" Do you know what I mean? And then obviously he was fucking watching everyone get changed and that, wasn't he?
So he's getting changed from
You know what I
him,
mean?
or he's getting changed...
Yeah, he used to watch people get changed and that.
Didn't have a
Like,
camera out today.
I fucking don't know, mate. Honestly. But like, looking back on it now, I must have blocked it all out of my mind when I was a kid, because I remember telling my mum, and she was like, "If you ever go to that geezer's house again,
Yeah.
I'm going to go around there and I'm going to kill him." And I didn't know why she was like that.
Yeah.
I thought he was our friend.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But he was obviously a fucking paedophile, wasn't
Yeah.
he? Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I looked like on Google Earth and all that, and his mansion's not there anymore now.
No
I
news
mean-
reporter out, no.
And I mean, going forward in time to when I do a lot of climbing and stuff, or I did in the past. I got told off by Jimmy Savile once.
No,
That's
lovely.
another claim to fame.
Yeah.
I parked on his drive.
He just attracts them. Yeah.
I parked on his drive in Glencoe because
Right.
he had a cottage up there. And me and my mate went climbing up on Glencoe, and then I come back and there's an old geezer stood next to my car. And I got closer and closer. I thought, I fucking recognise him. It's fucking Jimmy Savile. And he's there, he's like, "Yes, I am Jimmy Savile, but you know," it's like, "I'm sorry for parking on your drive." And he was a cunt, an absolute arsehole. I was like, a genuine mistake, mate. Like,
I think all the victims would say that as
you know,
well.
probably in his
Bit of
fucking
a
garage.
cunt.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't mean to go dark on the pod, but you know.
Hey,
You know what
content.
I mean? It's just when you ask the question about, you know.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think I can trump that, like. But I was reminiscing the other day with my brother. We drove up to Scotland and that. We went with family on a little holiday getaway thing.
Yeah.
And I was saying, like, we were talking about. He was like, "Remember in school?" And I was like, "Right." He's like, "Remember when we did this?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember that." I was not a bad kid in school, as I mean, if there's anyone from school who watches this, if you thought I was a bad kid, I apologise, but I thought I was just a bit mischievous and I was a bit talkative.
Yeah.
I've got a podcast, mate. I fucking talk people's heads off. Like, that's what it is. I used to talk and talk. I used to get sent out all the time, talking. Anyways, I wouldn't say I was a bad kid, but I liked having things my way, and I always do things my way.
Yeah.
And it was, I didn't like school food, so you'd run away and go to the chippy type thing. Yeah. And my brother was telling me about it, and he says, oh yeah, we used to go out to the chippy and stuff. And I remember we went out. I'm gonna have to name drop these. I don't know if I can do this legally, but I had a teacher, Mr. McGeegan. For those who know him, a bit of a softie and whatnot. Anyways, he was the IT teacher, and he was by the back end of the school, and he'd come and he'd always forget to lock his door. So we knew it was always open. Yeah. So he'd come out and they'd be like, we'd try and get in there as soon as the bell went. Yeah. Knowing that the fucking, what are they called? The fucking head boys? What are the,
principals?
No, like the
prefects.
Prefects, yeah. So prefects would come along, but we'd try and get there before them because they've got the keys to lock all the doors. So me, 4 mates, my missus, and my brother. My brother was like, "Oh, can I come with you? Can I come?" I was like, he was only in first year, I was in last year, and I was like, if you must, right? So fucking, I was like, send him a message to your mind. I mean, he can run, so he's alright, whatever. So then, I would run down the corridor, we're all there, and we'd go into the computer and push the computers out the way, open the door, the window wide open. It was one of them like wide, like 90-degree things. Yeah. We'd all jumping out. And all I heard was, "Red!" And my little brother, he jumped out, and his pants had caught on the window ledge, and he was hanging there, right? I'm not joking, they were like this right up.
Massive window.
Yeah. And he's going, "Come and get me! The teachers are coming! Come and get me! Come and get me!" I was like, oh my god, right? So I was like, sorry, I had to run back from the forest. I had to lift him off, right? And we're running away. Teachers had caught us at this point because there was too much commotion. And he's there trying to pull the fucking his boxes out his ass as he's running away. Anyways, we went and got chippy and whatnot. Like, that was an everyday thing. I wouldn't say we were bad, but it was just I thought it was quite a funny story.
I got excluded when I was at school. Yeah. For operating a gambling ring. Like, I used to... fucking...
What was it, pigeon toss?
No, it was fucking paper aeroplanes and cards and stuff like that, and I got excluded for a week. And my dad's a teacher.
Alright.
So I was like, how the fuck do I explain this one?
So what teacher was he?
Well, he was a supply teacher in like London and Blackpool and all them places. And I just fucking blagged it, do you know what I mean? I went to Keswick.
Right.
Went to Keswick for a week and smoked weed. Do you know what I mean? Just for a week solid. Yeah. On the islands and that with like some. I
wasn't a bad kid, but I took off to Keswick. You know what I mean?
Smoked weed for a week and then went back. I was like, it was fucking class. You know?
I remember as well, like, I wouldn't necessarily be bad in school, but me and my mates were like, as I said, just mischievous once again, and when the bell went, all the kids used to rush into the corridors and like go to the next lesson or whatnot. We were standing there in the lesson. I used to sell chocolate and fags and stuff like
selling stuff. You used to go.
Yeah, it was so my stock was chocolate, Lucozades, Haribo's and fags mainly. Yeah. Right.
And fags.
Yeah. No, but like so the deal was if you come to me before break time, it was you could get 3 for £1 or 50 pence each, right? Yeah. Good little earner I mean I grew up with no money, so like this was my
entrepreneurial skills.
but So after dinner, after break, it would be 50 pence each. There'd be no discounts anymore because the fags would come and scarce. You see,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And if you got after dinner, right, it was a pound of
What
fag
a
because
businessman.
no one had fags, so
Yeah.
it was a pound of fag. You want a fag, and they've got.
Fucking hell.
It's like if you don't want it, go without,
Yeah.
and then someone else will buy it. So they were always keen to buy them.
That's worse than what I was doing.
I don't think it's that bad.
It is. It's worse than operating a gambling ring.
Well, I remember I was in maths, right, and I was there, and I was selling chocolate out the bag. Someone was like, I'm selling blah blah blah. Mr. Monaghan was a teacher, old fella. Fucking what a lovely guy. Right, and he goes, hey. I thought, oh shit, I'm caught here. I had about 50 quid's worth of chocolate in my bag as well, so I thought if it's getting confiscated here, I'm fucked. And then he come over and he goes, you eating in this class?
You were eating.
And I was like, no. He goes, are you selling in this class?
Yeah.
I was like, no. He goes, be honest right now, and or I will fucking think. I goes, yeah, I'm selling chocolate, right? And he went, what have you got? And I went, I've got Dairy Milk caramels. And he goes, I'll have a Dairy Milk off you. And I thought that's him just taking it. And then on the way out, he gave us a cheeky 50 pence for it. I was like, get in there, get in there.
Good effort.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just like for me, school was like a big part of making me, like guiding me who I am. Secondary school was like. Yeah, it was realising that if you want something, you've got to go and get it yourself.
I think. So you're how old are you now?
I'm 27.
So I think yours is the last generation of like. I mean, I don't want to sound grim here, but like, I don't think the young kids nowadays, like 18, 19-year-old, they're not being brought up like in a real world. Do you know what I mean? It's all fucking ridiculous now. It's all like wrapped in cotton wool. Whereas like in my time, like your friends used to kick 10 living bells of shit out of you. You know what I mean? Like you'd be battered all the time. Yeah. Like you go home and there's fag smoke everywhere and all that. You know what I mean? The food that you ate was fucking dog shit. Yeah. It was like the scraps out the fucking chip pan and that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like I was in hospital more times than enough when I was a kid. Do you know what I mean? Like being shot by air rifles like loads of times. Like, but that's what we all used to do for fun. We used to hitchhike everywhere. Can you imagine doing that now?
No.
We used to go down to fucking like Windermere and Kendal and all them places when I was 12. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, what 12-year-old now is hitchhiking to fucking Windermere on their own? Yeah. You'd never see them again. Do you know what I mean? They'd be gone. Like, we used to bike it when I started climbing when I was like 14, right? Me and my mates used to get on our bikes from Whitehaven, massive rucksack on, like bike it to fucking Ambleside, Coniston area, go climbing, and then bike home. Like,
that's insane.
That's like 100-mile bike ride.
At least you got the stamina.
Do you know what I mean? Like, can you imagine doing that? Like, I couldn't dream of doing that now. Yeah. And I'd be like biking back home at 10 o'clock. It's fucking pitch black, and I've got no lights on my bike.
I've done that many times. But so did you do, obviously outside of school? Did you do anything that sort of mischievous? Because when you explained that, then I was thinking something popped into my head and it unlocked a memory, and like shout out to the people I was with for this because this was fucking. I couldn't. You were saying about generations today. Yeah. I could never picture them doing this. So what we used to do was we used to break into the tip. Right. Yeah. And take everything, right? And we'd have a camp, old pig shed.
Oh, right, yeah.
Right. And we made this proper camp. It had a chimney and everything. We had fires and everything like that. Do you know what I mean? It was. We had chairs, seats, everything. And this one Friday, we're like, right, drinking sesh. We're doing it, right? Yeah. So there was 4 of us at the time. It was 5 of us, including me. And it was like, right, I'd got my selling money together from that week, so it was like, right, we're gonna do this. Went and got like kebabs and shit, and then we got loads of. Beer and fucking we were stood outside the shop waiting for someone to go in for us and stuff like that, and then we went and got our fucking tenner deal of weed between 5 of us. Do you know what I mean? So hey, listen, it's different time. Yeah. And anyways, fucking what happened was we got down there. I said, listen, I'm staying at Lewis's house. Lewis said, I'm staying at Brad's house. Then Curtis going, I'm staying at Tony's house, whatever. So we're all there. And, right, we're on to this, having a drink, getting wrecked and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then we were cooking like sausages and that on the fire. Like it was like that sort of thing.
Good times.
It was really good until somebody dancing around knocked the fire over and burnt the full thing down at 3:30 in the morning, right?
Yeah.
Everyone else fucked off. So me and my mate, right, and this is God's honest truth, I swear down. I might even have to get him on the pod one day because he's a character.
Yeah.
But he was there and he went, what are we going to do now? Can't just turn up at our houses. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't just go home and go, oh yeah, Lewis's mum kicked me out. Do you know, like, it doesn't work like that. It just simply doesn't. So, we were wandering the streets of Frizzington, and we ended up sleeping, right, in a cardboard biffa bin. We climbed in the bin and we just lay there until the morning. And we kept checking out the time. What time is it? It's only 7:30. It's too early to be going home. Thinking they'll know something's wrong. And I was like, it's fucking freezing, middle of winter, absolutely freezing. So we just fucking sat on the swing park, like hanging, feeling grim.
People do that, don't they? Like when you're younger.
But kids don't do that anymore.
Yeah, you don't see them anywhere. They're not even outside. Like, I think the scariest one I had when I was like, must have been 14 or 15. We used to go to the old hospital in Whitehaven.
Yeah.
Right, you know, it's like posh flats now.
Yeah.
Well,
beside Morrison's, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, when I was a kid, it was like a haunted hospital.
I've heard stories.
It lived up to its reputation, put it that way. And I'll tell you one thing: I would not want to fucking live there right now. Like, I don't believe in ghosts.
Yeah.
But as I say, when we were kids, we used to go there.
Yeah.
And it was always like your friends were outside. And you had to go to the top window, like you had to go in and go up all the stairs and wave out the top window, right? That was like the challenge. So we did that. But then we discovered that the fucking mortuary bit was still there, right? Wow. With the drawer that you pull out and the slab and all that. And then we came up with this challenge that we did where you got in the slab and you got to stay in there for half an hour.
I'm sorry, I don't care what the challenge is. I've
14 years old and you get shut in the drawer. You couldn't get out.
You can't get out, it's locked.
You can't get out. You're in there for half an hour.
It's on a release catch, isn't it? It's not like a lock. It's once it clicks in, you can't pull on it unless you pull the handle out.
It was fucking grim. It was like, and I'm like, it's a Friday night. I'm 14 years old and I'm on a fucking mortuary slab. How random can you fucking get? Do you know what I mean? I'm like, you know, you'd be in tears in there on your own, crying your eyes out because it was so fucking scary.
Yeah.
And then you're walking home or you bike it home or whatever, thinking, I am not going to knock about with these people ever again in my life. Hey. You fucking arseholes. You know what I mean? But that's, you know, it was a bit off topic, like.
Class, yeah. And this is a music podcast.
Oh, yeah.
No, but it's, as I say, it's just questions. If you've got questions, by the way, get on to me at It's Time to Refresh on Instagram. That's where most of the questions come in. I want to ask you, what is your favourite movie of all time? And it's from Sean Baker. Listen, Sean, this is a very fucking hard question.
Isn't it?
I watch so much. So what I've done was I've cheated a little bit, right? And I've made notes of stuff that I've watched recently, or that's either that or. So I'm obviously going to miss a couple of things out. Or that are like my all-time sort of things. You can chime in whenever you want. I'm just going to read this out.
Yeah.
My favourite movie of all time is one that it's called Coherence. It was made on a £750,000 budget. It's set in a house, and that it's amateurly done, but it got bought by a production company and stuff like that. So it's really good. Go and check it out. It is a 10 out of 10. If you like psychological thrillers, it's really good.
Yeah.
I said before, Parasite, Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, Pulp Fiction, Platform, Shutter Island, Batman 1989.
I was going to say Shutter Island. That's a good film.
Shutter Island's really good.
Yeah.
Kevin and Perry, for the obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Step Brothers, and my childhood favourite was Matilda. Such a good film. Shutter Island, fucking banging movie.
I like them kind of films. So you have to think about it.
Psychological thriller, isn't it?
I like Usual Suspects as well.
Class.
The first time you see it, it's
class.
obviously good, but then it's one of them where you can't kind of watch it again.
Yeah.
Because you know it's him.
I've watched it 3 times, I think, and I just love it. But as you say, it's not nothing. I wish I could forget seeing it.
Yeah.
Just so I could sit and watch it again.
Yeah.
What's that other one that Edward Norton done? Was it Primal Fear? Have you seen that?
I think so. Yeah.
It's the one where he's a loony and he.
Yeah, I love it. I love it when people are lunatics.
Yeah,
and
it's the same thing at the end.
Yeah.
He wasn't who he said he was. Now,
Yeah.
sorry, I've just ruined it for everyone who's not seen it, but it's
they're my favourite kind of film.
So go on then. If I'd put you on the spot right now, what's your favourite movie?
Shawshank Redemption, something like that.
Do you think so? I like it.
It's a good film. I like that.
What is it? Andy Dufresne?
Yeah, I like that. That's the intellectual choice.
Yeah.
Obviously, I like fucking Rambo and Rocky and all them films. Do you know what I mean? Because I grew up in the 80s. It was bombarded.
Favourite 80s movie we go for that? What's that?
Probably Predator.
Predator.
I loved that film. It was great when it came out.
And you're going to know why I like it when I say it, but Double Impact. I might have said this on the podcast before. Double Impact is so fucking good. Jean-Claude Van Damme, peak Jean-Claude Van Damme. Not just one Jean-Claude Van Damme, 2, because he plays both characters and it's amazing. Set in Hong Kong, because I love Hong Kong. Yeah. And it's a proper representation of what Hong Kong is. I love that.
I love Hong Kong, it's good.
We will do a whole different podcast on that though. Yeah. So I wanted to just get onto this. This is Throwback Attack with Marco. So what I'm going to ask you several questions. All I want you to do is just reply to me without thinking, just straight off the bat. First thing that comes to your head. Is that alright?
Yeah.
So this is Throwback Attack with DJ Marco. What song do you think of when you think back to primary school?
Primary school. Fucking Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, probably.
Good answer. I've never had that one before, but I'll take that. What song do you think of when you think back to secondary school?
That would have been like in the 80s. I'm old as balls, remember. So probably like... Oh no, when I was secondary school, this is a weird one for you.
Go on.
Madonna, True Blue, because it was the song that I was listening to when I kissed my first proper bird.
Class. Your first kiss, how old were you? Go on.
Probably about 7 or something.
Right,
but then, like proper, like when I was about 10, 11.
Proper tonguing, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that was the tune that sort of on in the background.
Yeah, that girl, that she was singing it all the time.
Well, there you go. Yeah, what an answer. This is why I asked these questions. Some people
random
just
as
go,
fucker.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, and you wouldn't have thought you were going to be talking about today when you come on the podcast.
Yeah.
What do you think back to when you got your first set of decks? What?
I mean, that was probably around about 1999, 2000. So I was like, I just remember like Judge Jules and all them what being massive then. All the trance scene was huge. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
So what record defines that for you?
I liked The Dawn. Was it
Tony DeVito?
Yeah, I liked that.
Tune.
Yeah, that was kind of in when I was starting out with that kind of stuff.
That was for me. If I'd have been around then, that'd have been sort of my jam because it's got a tough kick drum in comparison to some of the trance stuff. Yeah. But it's that them strings on the breakdown are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like even now, it hasn't aged badly really in comparison to some other stuff.
I know, like, a lot of stuff's been overdone, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Like Adagio for strings and stuff like that.
Yeah, don't say that. I'm going to remix that eventually. Yeah. What song do you think of when you think to your first days of going out?
Going out?
Yeah.
Probably like some of the old rave stuff. 2 Unlimited and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was all... Like, when I was 16 in, like, 1992...
Yeah.
That was it. It was all rave. It was, like, all that and Italian house and all of that.
Yeah, like
Stuart
Euro
Wright and all them, like, playing it down in the park.
Yeah.
It was massive, eh?
Yeah. We're going to get Stu back on here at some point as well.
Yeah, it was awesome DJ in them times. Like, you know what I mean? He's good now. Yeah. But yeah, I remember going out and listening to all that. And at that time, I didn't think I'd ever be a DJ.
Yeah.
I wasn't interested in it at all.
Just interested in getting stage.
I was playing guitar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what I was doing.
Right. All right. Then this might throw you off. What song do you think of when you think back to your golden era? Your golden era.
See, I've had this conversation with people before. I think for me, 2005-06 was when I was doing Fusion on Saturday nights. I was doing Carlisle Fridays, Fusion on Thursdays. I'd finished DJing for Wayne Lineker and like a residency and all that kind of stuff. It was like kind of the height, but like I think since 2007, it's all gone downhill.
Right.
Like
so that's your golden era, sir.
Yeah, like 2005 to 6.
So go on, then, name a tune that sort of sticks out in your head. What was in your record box? Go on.
Do you know what I found? All my Fusion tunes the other day, like an old CD wallet.
Right. Okay.
I was like, fuck me, the memories that come flooding
So surely
back.
these tunes must be fresh in your mind. Fresh in your mind on the spot. Go for it.
Till Tears Do Us Part and stuff like that.
Right. Okay. Heaven's Cry.
I used to play that quite a lot.
The Flash Harry mix.
Yeah, it was the Flash Harry mix.
Okay.
I used to play
Always,
that
every
quite a lot.
time with that, especially around that era.
Yeah, that year, them 2 years in particular, it was like quite big. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. And for the last question for Throwback Attack, what's your karaoke song?
Fucking hell. Born to Be Wild.
Right.
One of my
okay.
ex-girlfriends is actually... It's fucking weird. She wouldn't watch this anyhow. Like, but you know what I mean? It's like... I used to play in a duo act, and Born to Be Wild was one of our songs.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm going to get a tattoo of your name on my body and that. I was like, don't fucking do that. That's just crazy. I said, we might not be together for long.
Yeah.
We were together for 2 months. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she went, all right, well, I'll get something different then. And she got Born to Be Wild tattooed on her ass. If your current husband's watching this and your bird has got Born to Be Wild on her ass, don't watch, just switch it off now. But she got that tattooed on her ass, and I was like, you fucking lunatic, eh? And then
She sounds like a great lady. Marriage material.
She's a teacher.
Oh, well. Hey, I don't want no fucking legal action against me.
Like,
I apologise, lady.
And then we broke up. We broke up like literally 2 months. I mean, she was nice in the flash. Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, but it was just like wrong time. Do you know what I mean?
She was born to be wild.
Yeah, she was born to be wild.
It's always the teachers, isn't it? It's always the ones.
It's always the quiet ones.
Yeah, it's always that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And on the next one, we're going to do Flop or Bop. So have you seen this section?
Yeah.
So this is Flop or Bop with DJ Marco. Let's do this. This is a bit of a random one for you, you know. So Georgia Lewis Hit the Floor, Whitehaven Anthem.
Well, I like that. I like that song.
So
I used to play it in Fusion,
Yeah, so Bop, yeah?
Yeah, Bop on that one. Yeah.
Absolutely. Res Q Someday.
I love that as well.
So it's Bop.
I'm going to say Bop to all these, aren't I?
I don't know, we'll see. Because there is a variation. Yeah. There is a variation. So Bop, it is a banger.
Yeah.
Lange Follow Me.
I love it. One of my favourites of all time.
Melody's amazing. Love the chord progression. It's quite a simple chord progression when you look at it. Like,
class.
But it's the way it's played.
I love Lange. He's a good lad.
Yeah, great. Ian Van Dahl, Reason.
I'm going to say Flop on that one.
Yeah, it's a bop from me. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I've just heard the wrong mixes and that of it.
I love it. I just love the offbeat
I never used
riff.
to play it in Fusion. No.
It's a proper peak time anthem, that sort of time as well.
I know.
And the last one for today, it's a bit different to the rest, which is Hannah Lang feature and Roro Good Love.
Fucking dog shit.
Do you like it?
I don't like a lot of modern music.
Okay, that's fair enough. Fair enough. So for me, I'm going to say it's a bop because it's the closest thing, and it's got a very Scouse House feel to it. It's got that like.
I know.
It sounds, obviously it's took the sample from Scoop Drop It, you know. But it's got like the kick and the percussions have got that. It's like 2002 all over again. Like for me, anyways, and it's
the steel and the fucking the bass lines and that from back in the day.
I love it.
I can't stand the new music.
Yeah.
I'm too old fashioned. You know what I mean? I'm like, I listen to stuff and I'm like, you rob them, so you've just...
Everything's stole though.
Well,
if you listen
yeah,
to like I know for a fact some of land use stuff is took from classical chord progressions, and
Well, a lot of it back then, but that was, like trance. Yeah, it was took from like old classical stuff and all of that. But they were the first ones to do that. Now you're like 2 generations forward. They're nicking it off them people who've nicked it off someone else, who've nicked it off someone else.
I don't see the issue. I really don't. Buy my bootlegs that come out this weekend. That's naughty, I shouldn't say that. No, yeah. I like it, but personally, new music is very... Like, some of the stuff my missus listens to, she's very heavily into like R&B and...
Yeah.
And I can't get away with it. I love stuff like what I would call like early 2000s, like sort of good R&B. I like Kanye West, Gold Digger. Like,
yeah, it's got a good beat now.
Yeah, like, do you know what I mean? But this new stuff, I'm like...
Is it called drill or something like that?
I don't know.
There's like all kinds of new genres.
Whoever this guy is, and I hope this clip doesn't get clipped and shared to him, because that fucking H is he called? There's another guy as well, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is dreadful. It's like... It's a guy, I think he's from Manchester or somewhere, and he's just got this like really shit wannabe gangster accent, and I don't like it. But then again, it's really popular with the young ones, so is it me just being old? I don't know. That's just... obviously people might
you're
say...
bordering on the old kind of people now.
I suppose.
You'll be 30 soon.
Yeah, the realisation I'm getting old is not good.
I'll be 50 in a couple of years. That's
what are you going to do? Big party? Well, what you should do is, right, I'm going to put it out there, and I'll let it stew over the next few years, right? What you should do is put an event on, and people who's been prominent, even the booking agents, get them booked in, and do, say, like, a Marco set from when he was 20 years old, where it's like somebody who's prolific in your life, whether it be a DJ or what, come and play a set. Someone from when you were 25, someone from the Fusion days, do you know what I mean? And you could really make a good night of it. I personally think...
I'll get all the strippers down from Rouge.
We didn't even touch on that. Yeah. Hangs around with strippers. Sorry, did hang around with strippers. But as I say, like, it's just an idea. And it's doable. This is the thing about having a club, right? You can do so much shit. I want to talk to you about something off the podcast. But you can just do so much shit about... it could be anything. It's essentially a big function.
I know, it's like, it's an open book, isn't it, really? I've had bands in there before.
Exactly, yeah. You had Davos and that as well, and you're playing the...
I love Davos, he's good crack. Isn't that a really nice lad as well?
Yeah.
I love all that kind of stuff. I mean, I'd have a fucking steel band in there. Do you know what I mean? I like stuff that's different.
Yeah.
I used to go to St Paul's Festival in Bristol all the time when I was younger, and we all used to just get fucking off our tits.
Lovely.
Do you know what I mean? It was good times.
Yeah, good times. Good times. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
I'm just going to tie today up, mate. I don't want to keep you too long. I'm aware of the time. I'm going to sign off. Look, you've not had the chance to do this because you were the first guest on and we didn't do it at this point. And I know you're going to take great pleasure in doing this. You're about to get the electric chair because... Oh, what excuse could we use? Because... You got found in that mortuary, right, underneath, in there, and like, what the fuck you doing here? Trespassing, right, that's it, electric chair. Bang, get on the electric chair. What? You get to have a final meal. Starter, main, dessert, and a beverage. What you having?
A starter, yeah.
Yeah, starter, main, dessert.
I'm going to go with...
Beverage to wash it down.
I think I'll go with a minestrone soup for a starter.
No one said that yet, and I'm about that, yeah.
Yeah, with a French loaf. My main comfort food, I'm gonna go with Sunday roast.
Okay.
Like a proper one though.
What do you have in yours?
I do it properly, yeah. Like nowadays, like with like goose fat roast potatoes and like proper like pan gravy and all of that.
Lovely.
Not Bistro out like that.
I'm on a diet at the minute. You won't be able to tell on the camera because apparently the camera adds £15, but you know I am on a bit of a diet.
How many cameras are on you?
but yeah, I'm on a bit of a diet at the minute, so I'm on like just chicken and rice and just like somewhat basic. I'm going to the gym every day and stuff like that. And this Saturday I'm having a roast. I asked you what's in your roast because I've thought about it all week. I went to work.
I love roasts. They're great.
I went to work this morning. I left the house at 5:20, right?
Yeah.
got in the van, drove away. 5:25. My mouth was watering thinking about this fucking Sunday roast on Saturday.
We are the best, like.
Roll on Saturday 2 p.m. I'm telling you now.
It's like when I lived in Portugal, I found a place that done a Sunday roast.
Yeah, I can't imagine the big.
No, it was the best.
Oh no, but I mean,
Like,
I can't imagine there's many.
No, there's not. There's none when I lived there. There was one English chip shop when I lived there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit uncultured, isn't it, to go and live abroad?
Yeah.
And then like, I'm gonna get a Sunday dinner, but you've been brought up with it your whole life. You know what I mean?
Best
So
thing to come out of Portugal food wise, Portuguese tart. They're fucking so nice.
Yeah, I loved all of that.
So go on then. What you having for your dessert?
Either a lemon meringue pie
Okay.
or a creme caramel dessert, something like that.
Not a bad shout. I'm more of a sweet chocolatey or caramelly type guy when it comes to desserts, but fruit still goes down well with me because it's fucking food at the end of the day. I'm so hungry right now.
I'll wash it down with a Jack Daniels.
What, just on the rocks?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So you have the full bottle, I assume, because there's a...
I used to drink that quite a lot when I lived in America and that.
Yeah. I don't like all these like whiskies. It's got all these. Oh, this is so and so with this and this. I like just like a single malt. That's it. I'm not even a massive whiskey fan. I got Profit as a kid, so.
Yeah, because you drank so much of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone's got that one drink.
Yeah.
Have you got a drink where you have a bad
Yeah,
experience?
fucking 2020.
2020.
Like, that was my era.
It's hard.
Everyone was on either bottles of bloomin' White Lightning
Yeah, or Mad Dog.
or Mad Dog.
Yeah.
It was grim.
I still drink Mad Dog now.
Grim
What a
times.
grim guy. Right, I just want to say thanks for coming on, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Cool.
Go and check out the club. If you're local, we've got a good listener base within Whitehaven, Workington and West Cumbria in general. Go and check him out. Like it's a quality club. I wouldn't put my events on there if I didn't think it was good. Do you know what I mean?
That's awesome, mate.
Yeah, and
Andy Whitby next week. No, this week.
it won't be coming out till Monday, mate. So
Oh well.
unfortunate.
Thanks for coming to Andy Whitby.
If you're on Patreon, right, and it's Friday morning, right, what day is it? Saturday or Friday?
It's Friday.
It's on Friday.
Yeah.
It's on tonight. Go and check it out. I mean, I know it's last minute, and you probably cause a lot of we haven't got many Patreons from Whitehaven, so if you're gonna come to West Cumbria for Andy, go on and see him.
Charlie Edges, 8th of September.
8th of September, Charlie Edges. I'm sure that'll be fantastic as well.
Should be good, eh?
I'm not going to give you the date till it's time to refresh yet, but I'm sure I'm going to hammer the fucking when I release it. You're going to know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. As I say, thanks for coming on, mate.
Yeah.
If you've enjoyed this, then please share it with your mates. I'm trying to grow this. I'm taking this very seriously in what I'm doing. I've spent the last 3 months of my life trying to build this fucking little mini podcast studio, and it's been. I felt like crying at times because shit just went wrong. And I'm constantly just fucking trying to upgrade everything. We've got, as I say, a second camera in now. We've got the lights. We've got the studio. We've got like the little backdrop that it makes it feel homely.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so I am trying as hard as I can to make this into something special because I believe that I'm filling a void in an hour of people's life per week where people look forward to listening to this. I've got people. I put it on Patreon first thing in the morning on a Friday, or if it goes general release on a Monday, and get people jumping in the inbox straight away, going, "I like this episode because of this, this, and this," and you get and that's what it's about. Like, I do it because people like it, and I enjoy talking to my mates. As I say, I enjoy meeting new people. When I started off, I didn't think I'd meet people that some of the people that I have, and that's what it's all about. So if you've enjoyed it, share it with your pals, and you can sign up for Patreon at patreon.com/itstimetoriffresh. Thanks for listening.